All right, everyone, the long awaited, it is here. Welcome to the first ever episode with
the Modern Framily.
I am so excited. You guys are my favorite people. I'll just say it right from the top. If you are not watching, you are missing out, and we do not want you to watch if you're driving, obviously. But if you're not watching, what you're missing right now is there are 22 people plus 2 babies, so 24 people. They're people too, and we are all right now sitting in a living room at Britt and Lauren's house, and we are just one big friend group. We live in Austin, Texas. We all come from various walks of life. Not pictured are 25 more kids who are right now with sitters who are probably like, please record faster.
Please come home.
Like, we could all go right now and probably guess what each of our kids are doing right now, and I don't even want to know.
Bad things.
But we basically, how this started was with the idea of an Instagram account that came from an Instagram reel. So my wife, Jen, and I, we moved to Austin and became a part of this friend group. We literally moved here, which you'll hear about more in a later episode, for this friend group. And just these really special people. It's been life-changing. We're like 8 months in. And we made a Instagram reel that went viral. And so many people had so many questions. I think the main reason why is because we're kind of on the tail end of like the virality of the Mormon moms. What, you know,
Secret
life of Mormon moms. Yeah. So I think people were like, is this like that? Is that what's happening? But like, what is this? And all these questions kind of got me thinking. That's why I'm talking a lot of just like, hey, I think a lot of people are curious because a lot of people desire friendship and they desire community. And our hope is that this is really just a space to get to know us more, because I think a lot of people also were like, can we know more? And like, this is just a chance for us to kind of get to go more long form and have conversations about us and how we live our life and all the different dynamics. And really, it's just to bring you guys in to our Framily, which, if you don't know what that is, friends that have become family, hence the name, the Modern Framily. And so really just some Instagram reels, and then it turned into, we got approached by 23 Media, which y'all haven't heard of them. Check them out. Awesome podcast network. And basically just kind of came up with this idea of starting a podcast. The difference is when they came to us about starting a podcast, we were like, if you get one of us, you get all of us. And, imagine looking at their production team and being like, so how many guys how many people will be here? And I'm like, 22, and some baby, some change. And it's been, crazy. We've been running around, lit in this house, recording episodes all day, because as you can imagine, if you're parents, try getting 11 couples together for an entire day without their kids, everyone coordinating sitters, being able to knock out an entire day is just a miracle in and of itself. So we're trying to make the most of this time. So we're knocking out these episodes for you guys, and it's going to be a really, really, really fun season. So we're happy you're here. We hope you keep journeying with us. But I thought we'd start out with some fun, just a chance to get to know us more. So what I thought we would do is, before we get to kind of who we are, I thought I would take the top most like craziest burning questions from our Instagram reels, and the people have questions and they want answers. And I just thought we would just address these questions head on. So I'll kind of just open up the floor to you. Bless you, Jackson. I'll kind of open up the floor to you guys. And if like you have something to say, feel free to answer. So question number 1, and y'all probably can guess this question because it was all over some of our reels. Number 1, are we a cult? Yes. I'm kidding. We're not a cult. Say it with me, everyone. We're not a cult.
That's very
Oh, they're so confused now.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. I'm like, say it. No, but the answer's no, but does anyone else have anything they want to say?
Sometimes when I'm watching these cult documentaries, I'm like, are we? No, we're not. But I just like, they didn't know.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I can see, what is a cult? Like, what is it?
What I'll say is I think like anytime, because this is so unique, like I think it's very unique for big friend groups to be really close, to really be tight knit, to have a common kind of goal for the way that we live our life. I think that it's almost like the world's way of like pushing back at that. Like, oh, this is just a cult, another cult. But really this is like, truly it's a group of friends, not to get too serious immediately, but it really is just we're a group of friends that love each other. We're going through a very similar stage of life and we want to do that really well. And we know that we're communal beings that need friendship in the midst of the life we live. So I would say that's like how I would summarize who we are as a group.
That's good. I think I just want to say this. If you answer Jenny's burning questions, how about we just do a quick introduction for anyone watching, just because like this is the first episode. So that was Aaron Thomas.
My name is Aaron Thomas.
Yeah.
This is my wife.
Hi, I'm Addie.
Yes. Just put it out there, document it. Please make all the Instagram reels, guys. We are not a cult. Okay. We're not yet. Question number 2. So the question was mainly asked like this. And so I'm just going to come out and say it. Oh, is Nash good? You good? Okay. Do we share each other?
Oh my gosh. Somebody actually asked that?
Many asked that and they want to know, are we swingers?
Wow.
I just think this just deserves like a hard no and move on.
A hard no.
Yeah.
The answer
None of us
is
share.
no. Absolutely not.
A lot of people in this family are actually family.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah, that would get really weird. And I think actually to your point, the reason why people ask that again is because I think they're just trying to assign like this has to be something weird, which is like, no, it doesn't. You can just be friends with a lot of people and all have kids like with your spouse.
Yeah, I'm Brogan. This is my husband, Russell. And I think you'll see there's a theme as we talk through a lot of things in the upcoming episodes that this is foreign in today's world, like what we've created, what we've cultivated. And we're not a cult. We are a community, a deep, deep community. But to Aaron's point, to JD's point, like it's unique and it's foreign to the world. So it makes people ask a lot of questions because they don't see it every day. And that's what makes it so special. So
Yeah, I agree. Next question. How many kids do we have in the group? I guess we've already said that, and how many more do we plan on having if we had to guess?
I just finished. How about that? I did my time.
Wait, so what say how many?
My name is Britt, and this is my wife, Lauren.
And we are done.
It's like Lawrence is the word.
Most likely.
We
have 4. Yes, we have 4. Just had one 17 days ago.
Yep. Right there.
Yep.
If you're not watching,
She's
she's
here. If
being
you're not
held.
watching.
17 days on Earth. She's on a podcast.
She's asleep.
Her debut.
Let's just go through really quick and say how many kids each of you have, if any, and if you don't, how many you want to have.
I'm Kelsey.
Oh yeah, and say also how many you want to have if you're not finished.
Finished. Super finished here. I'm Kelsey. This is my husband, Will. We have 4.
My name is Sydney. This is my husband.
Adrian.
We have no children, but we are hoping to have 2.
Love it. JD,
Jenna.
how many kids do we have?
1 and 1 on the way.
Due in June, baby boy. We have a baby girl. How many do we want to have?
We say 4. He's trying to make it like 6 or 7. But cold.
Yeah.
Plus X.
Yeah.
Again, Brogan, Russell, we have 3. And we're done.
Done.
I thought you were going to say one on the way. I was like, we're good.
Aaron and Addie, we have 3, and it's TBD. I'm not 100% sure yet.
Okay.
We're either having one more or we're not. and
It
we're not
depends on the day, truly.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm Jackson. This is my wife, Blaze. We've got 2 boys, and then we've got a little girl on the way. Yeah,
Are you done?
Officially done.
I don't know. You said that already. Yeah.
We're going to take measures to be done.
All right, I'm Van, and this is Jesse. Again, we're the Shamblins. We have 2, and we might have 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
It's always the husband that says more.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Jean,
I'm Jonathan.
and this is our daughter, Nash, and she's our first, and we would love. How many do you think?
I thought 5, but now I'm thinking
We had a rough, we had a rough first part of motherhood and parenthood in general, so maybe 2, 3, 4. I think 4, maybe 4. I don't know. We'll see. TBD.
I think Nash is excited about that.
I think you guys should say what today is for y'all and where you just came from.
This is such a big deal today because we are officially done with Nash's chemotherapy treatment. She was diagnosed with leukemia when she was 5 weeks old, and now she is 6.5 months old. And this is such a big celebration, and we are celebrating it with our very best of friends. So,
We literally just got out of the hospital this morning, and she got her central line taken out, and we came straight here once we could.
Seriously?
Cancer free.
Yay, Nash.
Let's go.
I'm Alec, and this is my wife.
Holly.
And we have 2 kids. And how many are we going to have?
Maybe 2 kids.
He said that.
Yeah, we are TBD. We are like Addie back here. We are TBD on anymore. Depending
Is
on
Holly
the day.
TBD?
Holly's
seem
more
very
so, yeah, we'll see.
I'm Connor, and this is
Brooke.
and we have 2 kids, one on the way, and we are gonna have on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 kids.
We'll see after 3.
I love it. So with that, I'm definitely not going to do the math, but it kind of sounds like there's a potential of like adding another 10 to 12 on top of 27. So
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah, we got a lot of. And now it's like, oh, this is why people think we're old. What is wrong with us? Okay, next one. How do people become a part of the Modern Family? Is there an application, a vetting process? Have you ever denied someone?
You have to
People
ask
want
our
to
leader.
know. Would you say, Alex?
You have to ask our leader.
No, stop. I mean, yeah. Who wants to? I feel like someone who's been here since the OG days.
I mean, I'll talk, and I think, I mean, this group came together so organically. As we all know, it's been a degree of different connections and different relationships and friendships that have all bound together, and underneath like a common goal of, like I talked about earlier, we're, you may talk about this a little bit later, but we are Christians, and we do believe that collectively and believe in our faith as being a really binding thing, between our friend group and something that we're all pursuing. And there will be a lot more about that throughout the season. But if you're not a Christian, this is still going to be a great place for just hearing a lot about friendship and how friendship can come together. And so I would say just we're an organic group of friends that have just had mutual connections along the way. So
Yeah, there's no application.
yeah.
There's no vetting process. It's kind of, we'll get into more in a little bit about how it's all came to be, but I think that'll explain it more.
Wait, so nobody else had to pay to be a part of this group?
Yeah.
Awkward.
Pay your dues. Which something you need to Venmo me. Okay. Do we all live on like the same property or like in the same big
wish.
house?
That'd make commuting so much better.
So much easier.
Wow.
This is my
It sounds like there's like almost like I want to do that. Like
Hands down, would do it in a heartbeat.
I feel like Lauren's been trying to rally the troops for like a year
Everyone
now.
thinks I'm joking every time. Like, we'll look at properties. We're like 100 acres. Like,
I don't think we think you're joking.
We don't.
like when are we gonna
And
do
I
it?
think that's why people say we're giving cults.
literally every answer we say, I'm like, oh. Like, do y'all hear us? Like,
I feel like I've told everyone in here like 50 times the lots next to us are available.
yeah, that is true. No, we don't. a lot of us do actually though live in the same neighborhood, like a majority of the group. But no, we don't live like on a compound, if that's what you're asking, or like in some big like lodge or something like that. We're very normal in a neighborhood or like, yeah.
But at the same time, like this house that we're in right now is about like 40 minutes ish out from where a lot of us live. And so it definitely takes an investment. We're not like all right together all the time. It's something you have to stay committed to be together all the time.
This will be the last one. Well, actually, Lauren, did you have a question?
Yes. If you're a male, can you raise your hand if you stole some of the cookies that were on that tray right there? Okay, so JD.
I saw more people eating them.
No one else did.
It was also Brett.
Okay,
Jackson did.
I need honesty.
Yeah, Brett was eating some.
Those were my lactation cookies.
Jackson's about to get so sweaty right now.
So congratulations, you're
I'm
sorry.
sorry to you.
They tasted.
Had to.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew more people.
What does this mean for the males?
I was like, these are so good with coffee.
I walked over and they were all gone. I was like, someone's going to be lactating.
I also like that JD was the only one that said yes, and then like now
Everyone's
didn't
eyes
raise
were
your
like,
hand.
oh crap.
Yeah, I was like, I ate cookies.
I should have put a note. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Well, yeah, you're not safe here. Okay. Last question. Are we doing arranged marriages for our children?
Yes.
Not opposed to it.
I'm kidding. No.
No.
I don't think we've done a good job answering any of these.
Like a draft.
Right.
No.
I mean, I think
Prayerfully.
1,
2, 3. No.
We're not.
Hey, but the athletes that we could create.
It's more like a March Madness bracket.
Yeah. It's gonna be a draft.
We have definitely had to say, hey, like, this one's not your cousin. This one's not your aunt and uncle. Just to make that clear, if one day they decide that they want to date each other. No arranged marriages, though.
I actually want to say Russell, he's our trustee. Are you an engineer? Okay. He's like so smart.
That label.
And he has like he was programming or something like that. I don't really know. But one time I asked him to make a spreadsheet of all the possible combinations of our children, like taking into account like who's cousins, who's kind of cousins, or like it would just be weird. And so I think can you talk about that? Like
That was also like a couple years ago.
Yeah,
so we've got a lot more options now.
Well, how many combos did we have?
I don't remember exactly.
It was like
how many, but
180 something.
It definitely needed a program to figure out how
Yeah.
many. There's so many different possible.
So my
combinations.
goal in that was to have a photo of every possible combination, just in case we need to pull it out one day. We're not arranging it, but like just in case.
I mean, obviously, like I wouldn't be friends with y'all if I wouldn't like. It would be awesome if our kids married your kids. Like that's why.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah, that's why we're friends. But it's like we're not
That's
gonna
why
force
we're
any
friends.
Yeah. I'm saying because y'all are great people, so you're making great children. But I mean, yeah, they'll do what they want. So, well, that's it for the burning questions segment. And what I want to do with the rest of this podcast is really just talk about how we came to be, like how the Modern Framily, I'm calling it the Framily Tree. And so basically like how it started and then who met who along the way, and just kind of giving y'all a chance. Like I said, I think a lot of people, we've just had an Instagram up to this point and they're like, who are these people? And this is like who we are. That's what I would say. Like if you walk away, it may not get like super deep or like any like crazy practical tips in this episode. Those are come later. But in this one, it's just simply like, hey, here's who we are. Here's how it started. And so after doing some like research and digging, this whole thing started when Jackson was born, and Jackson then had a sibling, which was Addie.
We really should have brought a diagram. Some visuals.
So Jackson and Addie Jane Shipley were both obviously born. And what year were you born, Jackson? How old are you?
92.
92.
32 years old.
32 years old. Okay, Addie, what about you?
I was born in 94. I'm 31.
Okay, and from what city were you born?
Abilene.
Abilene.
So
West Texas.
Okay, so I'm just gonna dive right into this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we were born in Abilene, and then we moved several times. Our dad was a high school football coach, but we ended up in Burnett, and that's where my dad's from. That was his like alma mater. So his dream was to coach in Burnett. So we ended up there probably around 2000. I was in 2nd grade. Addie Jane was in 1st grade. Her name's actually Addie Jane, not Addie, by the way.
I agree.
So for all y'all, Addie Jane. But anyways, so we moved there. I was in 2nd grade. She was in 1st. And Aaron and I became fast friends really quickly. Ran around together. Used to ride the bus to his house pretty much every day. In 5th grade, we'd go play football, play sports, hang out, all the stuff. And so he was the best bud of mine. And apparently there was some kind of a kindling that was going on.
Yeah, I had a question. So, because y'all are married now.
Yeah. So we're married, and there's a long story there. But yeah, so both of our parents actually worked at the school. So that's what kind of started like the bus trips. And we would go to my mom's office and we go to his dad's office, and we just became friends. And obviously I was spending a lot of time with Jackson, and we would be at their house. And when we were probably in like 5th grade, I remember telling you and a couple of people, like, man, I think I kind of like Addie. And y'all were like, bro, what? You can't like my sister? And I was like, oh, no, I'm just kidding.
That's crazy.
And really long story short, Addie and I reconnected in college. And when we got married in college, and we'll tell more about, the details of that story down the road. But
we'll get that, because they're not there yet. But that's crazy to think that this friend group started, how many years ago is that then?
It was 2000 or 2001.
2001.
24, 25 years ago.
Yeah, so crazy. So then Jackson meets Blaze.
Actually, before I met Blaze, I met Brogan.
What?
Blaze's sister.
He was so shy and so quiet, so different than right now.
Before you say that, what'd you say?
And before I met Jackson, I met Addie. Oops,
Yes.
sorry.
Okay, so wait, let's explain what happened.
Okay, so I'm the oldest girl in the room, I think. So when I was in college, I went to the University of Texas. I met Jackson and Addie Jane's older brother, and he was one of my really closest friends in college. And he and his roommate became tight friends with me, and then they would play on the Texas football team, and I danced for Texas. And so after every football game, I would spend that time with their family, typically at Taco Cabana, Taco C. And I got to know Addie and her older sister, Shelby. And throughout a series of events and conversations, we kind of said one time, like, I feel like Jackson and Blaze need to meet, right? Would you say the same?
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't know how it was going to happen, but we knew they needed to meet.
Yeah. And then Blaze, you can hop in on how you actually met Jackson, but that's where it all started.
Let me hold that.
I feel like it could be a really long story, so I'll hold off on some details. But I initially met Addie Jane and then their other sister Shelby at a tech game whenever they came to Lubbock, and I was I want to say junior in high school, and had a boyfriend at the time. But I remember them saying, like, you really need to meet my brother. And then one day Jackson had a game in Lubbock, and they were like, you need to come, we're going to be there. And so I went just so that I could see Addie Jane and Shelby, and I ended up meeting Jackson on the field afterwards. And the rest is kind of history.
Was it love at first sight?
For him.
For you?
Actually, it wasn't officially love at first sight, no.
Okay.
I thought she was cute, yes.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But we actually didn't communicate until I had a track
I still
meet.
had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So I was
good answer.
I didn't even like nothing. I thought she was pretty though. But fast forward to like January, I had a track meet again. I had a track meet in Lubbock, and ended up like connecting with her at that time. And then, yeah, she was single at this time.
How did you connect with her? Like, did you get a number or?
It's called Facebook.
Yeah. You kids out there, there's an ad called Facebook.
Yeah,
it's kind of like TikTok, but all your grandparents are on it.
Facebook chat.
Facebook chat. Okay.
Messenger.
Yeah. So anyways, I leveraged social media to get in contact, and
Juniors in high school though.
Yep. And then she ended up coming to the track meet, and just kind of got to spend some time with her there. And then from there, the rest is history.
Gotcha.
But we did long distance in high school.
Gotcha.
And I followed him to UT.
Yeah, we both went to UT, to Texas.
So y'all go to UT. You were at UT, and which is Brogan, sister
to Blaze,
who introduced Blaze and Jackson. But while you're at UT, who do you meet?
He was 2 years older. He is the grandfather of the group.
Russell. She's pointing to Russell.
This is my husband. You can tell how we met.
Yeah, so I was 2 years older, went to University of Texas, had some mutual friends with Brogan, and somehow became Facebook friends with her. Shout out Facebook Messenger again.
This is a big Facebook app. Who needs Tinder?
Was it MySpace for you or was it Facebook?
Okay.
MySpace, top 10.
Yeah, we'll probably have a lot of old jokes as we go. I'm used to it. It's fine. Yeah, talked about everything, made a connection, eventually got her number at a Young Life formal where we danced together, and then
Usher, you got it bad.
Oh, Young Life.
They still hold
with
on
the
to
Usher.
that. They still hold on to that.
Young Life was always a little edgy of a ministry.
Yeah, and then after that, dated for a while, got married. And then after about 6 months of us dating, Blaze and Jackson started dating, so kind of made more of a connection there and became friends with Jackson. Luckily, it was.
But Brogan also is going to come back around in her time at UT. Who did you dance with in the Framily?
Jeannie.
Me.
Yes.
We were on the dance team together.
Yeah, so we'll come back. The visual is us. We're on. Hopefully you're watching on
Just
YouTube
learned
right now.
that. I did not know that.
You just learned that? Yes, crazy. But we'll get to that more in the We'll try to keep it chronological, I guess, the best we can. Okay, so at this point, Jackson and Blaze are at UT. Brogan and Russell are wrapping up at UT. Was it the same time?
What year you're talking? What year?
Like just like y'all getting
2011, 2012.
Yeah, we got married right after school. So I graduated in May. He was 2 years older, and we got married in July.
Okay. Aaron has gone to college in East Texas.
I went to Stephen F. Austin State University in Nacogdoches.
And where are you at with Addie at this point?
So this is a long story. I'm not going to get into a ton of detail, but Addie set me up with a close friend of hers.
Whoa.
She was dating the brother. This was in high school. This was 2011, my senior year of high school. And those relationships obviously didn't work out. I went to college. And then we really weren't in contact really at all. I mean, that had reconnected us as friends, but we weren't in active contact until 2012, which would have been the end of my freshman year of college.
So, which cues me. We become friends. We meet, which we talk all about in another episode. But we meet at SFA. I go to SFA and become great friends. And then in that time, not long after, you meet your long lost cousin, who is Connor.
Inner Connor McAtee, baby. Let's go.
Which is like why this is all so.
Can't get rid of me.
We take Framily, I feel like, to another level because it's like y'all are like third cousins, but you didn't find each other until.
Not an arranged friendship.
It wasn't an arranged friendship, and we delve into this more in a later episode, but we found out from our grandmas that we were cousins. And long story short, he sat in front of me in class. I tapped him on the shoulder. "What's up, man? You know we're cousins?" And he was like, "Yeah, actually I do."
Weird.
The weirdest answer.
Yeah, I did know.
So yeah, I guess I can take over from here. So I become friends with Aaron and JD, and I was a junior in college. And then my senior year, there's this new hot off the press.
The new hot commodity on campus.
I've been so excited for this part of the story.
And I quickly realized that maybe I'm the one that's having the crush after I got to know her. Because if you know Megan, her sister, she is like yin yang sister. Like Megan was like the loud, like super talkative, like extrovert, and
she was like the popular girl.
And Brooke came in as this like humble Christian. Megan at the time wasn't a Christian. And so over my senior year, her freshman year, I crushed on her, like definitely got friend zoned. And
yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about.
So we get to summer break and we go to this house party with like basketball guys that we all know. It was very chill, easy on the house party. She like makes a comment to me like, hey, so-and-so is cute. And I'm like, what do you mean so-and-so is cute? And so we have this long conversation and I'm like, actually, I'm the one that likes you. And I ask her out and she's like, ooh, wow. Let me think about it.
At this time, we had been friends. Like, I had met their whole friend group, and Connor and I got really close pretty quickly. Like, we just laughed a ton, and we shared a lot of like conversations, and we just like hung out.
Because I was crushing.
Yeah. So yeah, silly me. I didn't realize. But it was like such a close friendship that probably should have like established some boundaries and time. And
so let me get back to, so I ask her out and she's like, let me think about it. And she literally goes to like the best place. She goes like South Africa with her sister. And there's a picture of me on Instagram. Yes.
No, I went to
Cabo. She went to Cabo.
Little different.
She went to Cabo
on a vacation like this.
with her sister. And there's a picture of me paddleboarding with a friend. And I look so sad because I'm just like looking at my phone every like 10 minutes waiting for her to like let me know her decision. Anyway, we can wrap it up. But so she says no. She comes back, says no. And then a lot of life happens.
I always said that I was like, I desired to like date and marry my best friend. And then like, as the more I thought about it, I just couldn't get over the friend zone in the time.
So fast forward 5 years, she lives in Kazakhstan to play soccer professionally. And I'll wrap it up. I'm trying.
I think we need our own episode here. Is what we're experiencing. Is
maybe like a friend zone.
How to get to the friend zone? Yeah.
I call her sister because I was like leaving a date that went poorly. I call her sister just because we had been missing, like we've been trying to get in contact with each other, and we talked for like 5 minutes. She's like, "Hey, by the way, Brooke just got back from Kazakhstan, and her and so just broke up." And I was like, "Oh shoot!" And so we ended up talking on the phone for like an hour, and one of my buddies, Joe Minden, who keeps getting shout outs, I was with, and I was like, dude, I'm about to marry Brooke Dunnigan. And he started dying laughing because there was like 5 years of obviously history there.
What's also crazy is we were about to go on a trip with our friends, and I was at their apartment when he was on the phone with Joe, and I like lean over to Addie and I'm like, I think I like Connor. And it like,
and I said, you're going to marry Connor.
And we were, yeah,
it was the greatest friend zone escape of all time. It was.
Let's go, baby.
Can I say that Aaron and I were working together at the time, and after y'all came back from that trip, he showed me that picture of y'all in the snow, and he was like, these two are going to get married. Like, it's going to happen. And I was like,
just to get us like into Austin, we date and get engaged, and I'm living in Dallas, and I'm like definitely seeking to get to Austin, and I get a job at Dell, and like a couple months later we get married, and we've been here 6.5 years.
So at that point, the people who now live in Austin, because people have gotten married now, people have graduated college. So I graduate.
Give
I
us
go
some
off.
years.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
try
at
to attach years
2015, 2016.
2016.
And at this point, we all graduate. I go off, start a job somewhere else. Jackson and Blaze have gotten married and have y'all had a kid? When y'all? They had a honeymoon baby.
So she got
born in 2016.
Yeah.
She got pregnant with it like about a month after we got married.
Yeah, so we're in 2016.
Yes. So at this point in 2016, he's born. Probably four to 6 months.
Okay.
Something like that.
You two are married.
End of 2016, we had our first.
Okay.
So it depends on what part of the year, but yeah.
Okay.
Addie and I are married, and we're in Austin.
Yep. They got married our senior year in college, and now these 6 on the couch, that's why I put them here, are all in Austin, and kind of this group is starting to form in Austin.
Yeah.
Yes.
In that time, while Connor and Brooke are figuring out all of that they just brought us in on, Aaron.
I meet Kelsey. So Kelsey and I worked together at an amazing job. And we really, honestly, we bonded over how much we hated our job.
Yeah.
We all have that
Kelsey sat right across from me, and like we sat in cubicles, and she sat right across from me. And so we just like sparked a friendship at work. And you want to elaborate, you can, but
yeah. So Aaron sat right in front of me, and I mean, it was literally like we were like making eye contact. Like we were that much in front of each other. And Aaron was the guy that was like throwing spitballs at me, like just acting like a total child at all times. So this company that we worked at was really interesting. It was like, we were fresh out of college. Everyone that worked there pretty much was fresh out of college, but like the culture was just very intertwined with sin. Like it was just very, it wasn't awesome. And it turned me into like probably the worst version of myself that I've maybe ever been. And what was just really cool is like Aaron came in and he was literally like a light. Like I've never met anyone who was able to just like stay so true to their morals and integrity in a situation that was like not great, but also in such a non-judgmental way. Like I've never seen someone just like live out the gospel like that. It was just really cool. But and so I was just like he was awesome, and like he reminded me a lot of my brother at the time. And so we just like hit it off. We were really, really close friends. And we were both obsessed with our partners. Like Will, at the time, we were not married, we were dating, and he was playing baseball. So he was gone like 6 months out of the year. And then Aaron and Addie were always already married. And so we just like talked about our spouses or our significant others all the time.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing is like, it was never that was something that was like, we were really truly like close friends that like,
yeah, it was like brother sisters.
And it was cool about that is we were able to like merge our significant others and we all became friends and we all started spending time. When Will came back and y'all got married that year, you know, we all were able to just spend a ton of time together, which was amazing.
Yeah, I think a cool aspect of it is like when you meet a friend of, at work or anything like that, a lot of the times, or it could be a neighbor or anything like that, where the wife of one of the partners is talking to the other one's like, oh, you would really like my husband, or no, you would really like my wife, or whatever. And it's usually, it's rare that it works for both, where Aaron was telling Kelsey that she would really love his wife, Addie, and Kelsey was saying the same thing to Aaron, how Aaron and I would really hit it off. And it's like, yeah, okay, we'll see how that goes. We start to hang out and obviously start, migrating into this friend group, but nothing could be more true.
It was funny. Our first little hangout, we went and played mini golf, and then we went and got ice cream. And Aaron had been telling me for like months and months how like I would just love Addie. And I was like, okay, like let's meet her. And we got in the car and we were both like, we love them. Like, I think that's the best person I've ever met in my life.
It was the first time we had all hung out, and I think like 3 holes in, you look over and Kelsey and Addie are spending more time together, and Aaron and I are, y'all
are quoting movies and doing dumb stuff. But and so they basically Aaron and Addie do what they did. They did what they always do, and they pretty much immediately asked if we had community. And Will was gone 6 months out of the year, and we really didn't. And so I came to the first, I guess, MC, which it was like half with the Stathis, and that ended up being their last.
MC is every Thursday night we have like a Bible study together. And so if you don't know it, we call it MC, but it's missional community is what that stands for. And we all meet every Thursday night. And that's kind of how we have like a weekly like check in and hang out scheduled, programmed into our week together. So just wanted to bring that context.
Yeah. So I went by myself because Will was playing baseball, and then that was actually that was my first and their last meeting. And then I think like a week or two later, we all met at Brogan's old house, and it was literally y'all 4 or those 3 couples and us, and we kind of like talked about, and I think literally Will was like, hey, I'm Will. Like he didn't know anyone.
I think I got back from season.
Yeah, it was like the next week.
Yeah, the next week. So
y'all come in. I just tell me really quickly though, like, what would you say like your life, what changed? Like what did having a friend group change about your life, marriage, obviously being alone, like 6
months out of here. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I was thinking about this earlier today. And the thing about this group that's really cool is when you have people like Aaron and Addie and Brogan and Russell and Jackson and Blaze who just have like such high moral integrity, they really like bring that out of you. And one of the best things about this friend group is like, that was so established from the very beginning, is like, this is who we are. This is what we believe. This is how we treat each other. Like, this is what community does. And so I think what's been really cool is like, when you become a part of this group, that standard is already so set that like, when you join in, even if that's not like naturally who you are, that's already set in stone. So it's like, you come and like, this group makes you a better person because of these 3 couples right here that have just like held themselves to such high moral integrity that you just like, you raise up to meet that bar and that standard. And I think a lot of us are really good people on our own, but this group makes us treat each other and treat the community within this group at another level because they have set that standard. Does that make sense? Yeah. I think everyone would agree with that. Like, they make you better.
I think like the 6 on this couch have like a natural gravity about them that just inherently drives you to be the best version of yourself. And when that is being brought out in yourself, you can't help but have that same domino effect of the other people around you.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think that's a good thing too for like the listener, the viewer, just, you know, and just the importance of friendship and like stepping out of your comfort zone. And we're going to talk more about this in episodes throughout the season, but stepping out of your comfort zone and really seeking and pursuing friendship, even if it's not convenient, or maybe it is convenient and it's just uncomfortable. Like, I think that's really important because that's how these bonds get created and these relationships form. You have to take that step. So
can I add something to that? Even if you're living around people and with people you wouldn't necessarily call friends, you're surrounding yourself with people, and the constant exposure to the people around you and the people you choose to surround yourself with, even if they aren't your friends, are going to have an influence on the way that you live your life and act and treat other people. And so it's kind of the flip side of that. Like, even if you're surrounding yourself with people you wouldn't call friends, you're still surrounding yourself and exposing yourself to those people who will influence you. Yeah. So
that's good. So y'all now are brought into the fold, part of this group. And again, it's just growing. And then along the way comes Robert Shaw's. What year is this?
End of 2018. Start of 2019. Connor was moving into Austin.
So let's just go ahead and say Connor comes into Austin. You and Brooke are engaged with plans to get married, and Brooke obviously coming to Austin. And then you are going.
So I'm headed to the golf range and carrying my clubs. We were living in this apartment, and I'm walking through the parking lot, carrying the clubs, and I hear this, "You going golfing?" And I look over and it's Britt, and it's our first ever interaction.
Which is so
And I was like, "No, I'm headed to the gym."
Yeah. Which, yeah, knowing Britt, what a like crazy move. Like what made you, because like you're kind of like, people usually talk first to you. So like, what made you did you think he looked cool, or
that was
no idea. Yeah. I don't know if I could have said something dumber like in that moment. I don't know why. I've told some people, like, I was packing up the car to go on a family trip. And I was like leaning in the car, loading stuff up. And it felt like in my head, like I was hearing the clubs clinking for like 10 minutes. Like it sounded like he was walking circles in the parking lot type thing. Like, it got to the point where I felt like I needed to say something. And as I don't know why.
So wait, was it kind of a jab then? It was kind of like, "Hey, can you stop clanking these out?"
No, it was like,
"Where are you going? You should go there."
I was like, I need to say something. Like, why do I keep hearing this guy with clubs like walking around?
So Aaron doesn't do anything quiet, so that's like not shocking at all.
But it was honestly though, like maybe a 30-foot walk
or quick
is what it really was. But it just felt like it was a long time, and I had this like urge to say something and didn't know what to say.
Such a guy thing.
I mean, it worked out. We talked I never even went to the range. We talked for 2.5 hours.
We were late for our trip.
We were already late to the get together before I said, "Are you going golfing?"
We literally talked
super loud.
I came outside looking for Britt because I was packing these by myself, and I was like, "Wait, where's my helper?" And I'm outside, and you were talking to this guy, and I started out like, "Oh, this is so annoying." And then
so she comes out, she joins the conversation,
I realized Aaron was like normal. I was like, "A normal friend?" Okay.
Yeah, and so we're out there talking to us 3, and then all of a sudden we hear a sound like from the balcony.
No, I gotta explain this part. Aaron was like, oh, there's my wife. And literally, it was like an angel with golden hair watering her plants. I was like, she's going to be my friend. And then she just comes like floating down the stairs. And I was like, another normal
Everyone
friend.
describes Addie as like this like majestic creature.
it
But
was
that's so real.
It was the hair.
I'll tell my side of the story. Aaron left like 2 hours before that. I went outside to water the plants and I hear him talking. I'm like, is that Aaron's voice? He left like 2 hours ago. So I look down, and I see Britt and Lauren, and he kind of motions to me like, come on. So I went down there and we talked for probably another hour. Yeah.
And I just want to point out how cool that is. I think a lot of people are trying so hard to look for friendship and community in so many places. People are literally paying for apps to find friends, and you talk to someone in a parking lot in the same apartment complex as you, and now we are in your home.
I just got to say too, because like, I know I just had a baby, but I was getting emotional up here listening to everyone's story. Because like we were saying earlier, Addie, like so many things had to go right, like for y'all to be in our home and like for our family to look like this, my brother to be sitting right here, which we'll get into that, but it's just very cool how God's woven everybody's stories together. But that moment of you like listening to that nudge or whatever we're going to call that changed everything for us. Like our best friends who are like now our family.
Yeah. We get into it later in some different episodes, but like that was a time where we needed this so bad. Lauren and I, we were just struggling and knew it was like something, like community is something that we had needed, and we had just had one community dissolve and we were kind of like lost somewhat, and it just worked out where he was like, well, hey, we actually like have a group that's meeting next Thursday like at our apartment, y'all should come by. And that's 6 years ago, and like haven't looked back.
Yeah, Lauren, what are you feeling?
I literally just feel like undeserving. Like this whole day has been like such a reflection, and like we just didn't deserve it at all. And God was so sweet in that moment, but then just like how it's played out, like how he's kept us together, like as friends, and just like the best people. But it's all because of God, because they all have the Holy Spirit inside them. And I think that's like something that we were able to witness for the first time. And I don't know, it's been a really like reflective day, and I just feel like humbled. Like I don't know how else to describe that. I just feel like I'm serving.
And so now we're recording a podcast in your home. So I'm really thankful for those golf clubs. Yes. And then as a story,
couldn't hate them worth a dang, but
so as the story continues, I believe it's y'all, or is it Van? Yeah, okay, Van, so you're crying too, so it's a perfect time just to hop over to you while you're feeling it. So
in comes the bachelor.
Yeah, so Lauren's brother is Van. So go ahead.
Yeah, so quick backstory. It's January 1st, 2020. I was off living a whole different lifestyle. Can
you share high level like what that lifestyle was?
Yeah, it was a laundry list of things. I'm sure we'll get into it at some point, but just very straight away from family, community, my faith, and I was in college at the time and in the Marine Corps, and I was just running with the wrong crowd. I was projecting an image that was not me. And
we were praying for him a lot, before he met the group.
And I always just felt like I'd like own the black sheep image and family in my community. And so I was really just kind of taking that and running with it. Struggled with, and I'll really just kind of dive into it real quick, but struggled with drugs, and struggled with eating disorders, struggled with self-image, and that led to a lot. and we'll get into that at some point. But anyways, January 1st, 2020, I get a phone call, and it's not from anyone here. It's from my father. And he called me home, which was not something.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. We're able to take a moment for sure.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
A lot has happened. All right. 3, 2, 1. What are we doing?
What's everyone so quiet about?
Those are Joe guys. Come on. Yeah. So, anyways, I get a call home, and it was one of those callings that you just listen and you submit. And so, I came home, and my parents and Britt and Lauren were there, and we just had a truth conversation, and really just talked about how things were going, and the path I was going down, and the opportunities to course correct from there. So that was a Monday, I think, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. January 1st, 2020. If y'all want to look that up real quick, somebody correct me. I drove back to San Marcos in my truck in a trailer. I packed up everything. The next day I drove home, and Lauren, I think you helped me look for, I was enrolled at Texas State still for the next semester.
We applied like the next day.
We applied the next day, and transferred to Concordia that Thursday. So 3 days later, Lauren asked me to come to the Thursday night MC, my first one, and it was at Brogan and Russell's house. And my first interaction with the group, when I walked in the front door, Brogan and Russell both embraced me and thanked me for coming into their home. And they said, "We're so glad you're here because we've been praying for you for over a year that you would be here." And it's not even that crazy of a story. I don't know.
It's pretty crazy.
So that was my first experience with, I think, feeling loved, feeling seen, and community. And that's what this was all about. And so that first Thursday, that community group, I started coming back every single week, every Thursday. And one weekend or a week, a year later, one of my close friends who I was still close friends with from Texas State, the only person who kept in contact with me after I left, checking in on me on my sobriety and my walk with Christ. He invited me on a ski trip with his girlfriend. He was bringing his girlfriend, and his girlfriend was bringing a friend. We were going to Park City for like 7 days. It's like a 7-day ski trip with another couple, like a 7-day couples date with somebody, a blind date that I had never met before. We land in Salt Lake City, and the friend who's coming missed their flight and was delayed, and we stood in the airport for hours waiting on her, and out walks Jesse. And I grabbed her bag. I could not get across that terminal fast enough. I grabbed her bag and just walked with her, and we started talking, and we hit it off, and I'll not get into all the details because it's insane. But we hit it off from there, and I'll let you kind of hop in.
Yeah. And then night 2, he's like, I think you're my future wife. And I said, yeah, no, you're definitely my future husband. No.
This is not a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, you go. Because y'all were out there.
I like the next morning was getting ready, like in the bathroom, and Lauren's on the phone with her brother because they talk all the time, and it's speakerphone.
And I was doing this. Get in here right now.
And I was just like, I can hear like enough. It's not like crazy. And then all of a sudden, like I heard him say like, I found my wife. And I like walked in the room. I was like, what is like wrong with him?
Yeah.
Hold
I couldn't tell if he was being weird or if he was joking, like, I met this hot chick on the slopes.
Yeah, but that wasn't it. And he like straight up was saying he met his wife. And then all of a sudden I hear Jesse talking on the phone, like they're sitting next to each other.
Together.
And I like look at Lauren and I was like, he has lost his mind. Like, what does he do? Like, she's going to run. And Jesse's like, right away, she's like, no, I love him.
We were like,
And
what? Love is blind.
I legitimately like my jaw hit the actual ground, and I didn't say anything. The rest of it, I just looked at Lauren in shock.
I called my mom immediately. I was like, Mom, help. Bands in love.
I remember the group text you sent, and you're like, guys, it's happened. Van found his wife, and we're like on a ski trip, and you're like, please be praying for Jesse. And we're like, Jesse,
Jesse, I want you to say the one thing that y'all found in common that also ties into the group that you and Van had in common that night that y'all talked. The name, Great and Gray.
Oh yeah, we were. Me and my friend were talking about baby names, and I was talking about. I said, "Oh, the name Grit is cute. You know, like Grit and Gray." And Van said, "I know Grit and Gray," and it was
backstory.
Yeah, backstory. It was Brogan and Blaze's retail shop, and I said, "No, you don't know Grit and Gray," and he's like, "Yeah, like Blaze and Brogan," and I was like, "Wait, what?" And he was like, "I'm in a community group with Blaze and Brogan and their husbands and like all of our friends," and then from there I knew already that like I trusted you. I don't know how to like put that into words. Not trust, but like when I knew you were a part of a community like that and I looked up to you girls, I was like, not only did I find my future husband, but I knew I had just like this sense of peace over me in that moment that I had found my future friends. And that's something that I want to talk more about, like the power of prayer and my relationship with Jesus Christ. But that was something that I had prayed for a very long time and in depth for, and like those prayers were answered and more. So that was really, really cool. So we did a year long distance, and then we got married a year and a half later. And then whenever I moved here, we started going to community group together.
That was what, 2022, right?
That was, yes, 2022 at the beginning, yeah.
So y'all start joining the group. Connor, you hear about? No?
No.
No,
I thought someone told you.
There's mixed on this.
But go ahead, Sydney.
Okay, yes.
There's mixed.
So, yes. So, Adrian and I met in 2019 at a different church. I had somebody who invited me, and I showed up to her small group. The only empty chair was between her and Adrian. That's a whole other story in itself. But we were at that church for 3 years. Some not awesome things happened. We left that church and lost our entire friend group. So we'd been praying about a new community. in high school, middle school and high school, I had this friend who played soccer with Brooke's sister, Megan. So when I moved to Austin, she introduced Megan and I. And when I was looking for churches, she gave me a list of people's names and their phone numbers so that if I went to a church, I had somebody that I could text and sit with. Brooke's name and number were on that list, but because I found a church so early on in moving to Austin, I never ended up reaching out to her. But I knew who she was because of Megan. The weekend before, I was staying at Megan's house, and it was the weekend we left our church. The next weekend, we go with our family friends to church, and we end up in the row, and the person that has to step out of the row for us to walk in and sit down is Brooke. So we go through the entire service, and then at the end of service, I walk up to her and I was like, "You're Megan's sister." And she was like, "You just stayed at Megan's house last weekend." Then we found out that Connor and Adrian also knew who each other was, but that came at Connor's shaking his head at me. But the reason why we got invited to this group is because of my connection with Megan and then my connection with Brooke.
That may be true. However, from my perspective, the family friend, so their names are the Irwins, I had a friendship with them, and Andrew's name was like, "Hey man, like there's this dude, he got a lot of similar interests as you." And as we're at the same service together, he's like, "Hey, this is the couple." And so I think from my perspective, it was always like Andrew introduced me to Adrian, but apparently
there was more to the story.
It happened.
It was destined to be.
The Irwins, who Connor's talking about, that's who we went to church with that day. So it all kind of happened at one time.
Came at once. So now now here all the way, if you're watching, through the back row, all the way around, are now hanging out together, doing Bible studies every Thursday night.
And where are you in all of this, JD?
Lord knows where I'm at. Yeah, it's not me. I'm not here yet.
I'm going to say 30 seconds to answer like one of the questions about, do you have to pay to be here? I think this is what I'm hearing is obviously a testament of like the organic nature of the group, and also our willingness to invite. Because I think that a lot of times, like there are old friend groups out there, but it's all like, it all happened at once and they're like very closed off. I feel like as we go on the line, I'm realizing like this is 10 years of adding and us being faithful to not being closed off.
Gene is over there holding Nash, but remember, Gene danced in college with Brogan, goes off, becomes a dermatologist, and then y'all can kind of pick it up from y'all met and y'all were living where at the time?
We were living in Fort Worth at the time. When we met,
Did you see his face?
We're handing off babies.
So John and I got married in 2017. And I had left Austin right after college, went to medical school from 2013 to 2017. John and I got married. We were dating this whole time during medical school. So he had stuck it out and just stood by my side through med school. We moved back to Fort Worth from Houston for my residency. So I'm a dermatologist, and we knew ultimately when we got married, we wanted to be back in Austin. But, I had to go through residency, and we went through fellowship, and then he got his MBA through UT McCombs, but in the Dallas-Fort Worth program. And so once we kind of were at the tail end, we were literally like, how do we get ourselves down to Austin? Austin was where we went to college. We met. I was a cougar. He was a year younger than me. And so I know, right?
Is that the definition of a cougar?
Yeah, you always harp on it, that I'm a cougar in the relationship.
Spell it out.
Okay. I'm admitting.
John, you're a beast, bro.
And so we knew we ultimately wanted to end up in Austin because we wanted to grow our family, and then our families were just closer to the Austin area than in Fort Worth. And so we ended up kind of a lot of plans. We were trying to figure out a job for me to go down here, and we were basically ultimately like, let's just go down to Austin. And we moved in April of 2023. And, Brogan and I have kept in contact with each other, but it's been 11 years since we graduated from college.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. And so we were together on Texas Palm for 3 years, and we were literally all the time spending all our time with each other. Because
Yeah, every single second we were together.
And so, so we were like, we moved down to the Austin area, I knew we had such a great community in Fort Worth that I knew that I wanted to be in a community. And honestly, like I've seen from Brogan's just like how she's lived out her life and the people that she had surrounded herself with, that I was like, well, I know that they have such a solid group of believers, just, you know, doing life together and doing it so well. And funny enough, I actually knew Lauren.
I was like thinking, do you remember when I used to talk to you about Dr. Jean? And you were like, are you talking about Jean? Dr. Charles is what I call her. Yeah.
Yeah, when did we do that?
We like did a collaboration on, you came on Secrets and Such and gave your skincare secrets. Yeah.
Which is Secrets and Such is Lauren's Instagram.
Sorry.
For those that
Shout out. Everyone's going to follow.
So yeah. So you come, she said,
I'm joking.
Southern Secrets for Southern Hospitality.
We moved from Facebook to Instagram now. So we're up to.
So you reconnect, and do you just basically like say like, of course, come to group? Is that?
Yeah, we had a dinner. So we were on leadership at Palm together, and there was one other girl that is actually now running the entire program, and we had a dinner together, and I mentioned that we have a group that consistently meets and that I would love her to be a part of it. And kind of to Connor's point, for most people, it would be like, it would make sense to close this off at some point, but that's just not our heart. And we want to always invite people in that want community. And so that's what they were seeking. So I said, hey, why don't you come to dinner with me and a few of the other girls? We went to Kirby Lane, and you walked in, and just the way that we operate, we make you feel at home from the moment that you walk in. And I, like, shortly after that, I think you were already hanging out with some of the girls in the group without me right away. And it just fell into place, and they never left.
They never left. Yeah. And honestly, we knew, like, it was just crazy that we got plugged into the community. And then literally, I think we started coming in June. We got pregnant we found out we were pregnant in January. And then Nash was born in August. And then, you know, we found out that she was diagnosed with leukemia October 4th of 2024. And this community has just really rallied around us really well and have just supported us through these past 5.5 months. And we'll go into that later. But I knew what God was doing, just kind of orchestrating that and putting us in this community at the right time to just kind of support us through one of our hardest seasons of our life. So really, really, like, we really do life like down and dirty, in the hard and in the really fun stuff that we're doing on social media too. So
I love it. And then it was us.
Enter us.
Yes. JD and Jenna over here. So obviously I went to college with Aaron and Connor, and we talk about this in another episode, but basically, like, all of my 20s, I'm like bopping around like basically 4 jobs in my 20s, and just watching, like, hoping one day I can be reunited and meet all these awesome new people. There's a little like jealousy, I'll be honest, like watching my bros like make more bros and connect with old bros. I'm like, like they're like, we were all supposed to recreate college, and they're recreating college, and I'm not there. So I knew that was always like a hope for me, but it was really important to me that obviously I wanted to, if I was going to bring a woman into that, that was a lot. I felt like y'all were so special to me. It had to be a special girl, which here to my left is Jenna. And long story short, we can get into another time, but we met and Jenna knew.
Oh.
Tell them, girl.
Okay. I knew the next day, I'll say, but the day that we met, he already was like, do you want to be my girlfriend? I'm like, no, I don't even know you. So the next day I was like, okay, I felt something like, okay, I think this is going to be my future husband, but I didn't tell him that because I wanted to make him work for it, you know, but.
Yeah, you can't give him that for sure.
Yeah, but I knew. And so I was like, we could play this game. So we fast track, we get married, get pregnant, all the things, and God brought us. We're the second newest members of this group, which are probably like, then why are you talking so much? It's because it was my idea, okay? I was like, these people are too awesome not to share with the world. And so, we talk about it all. But we came here, and with arms wide open. This group just said, get in here, you. And it's been awesome. And then just to cap it off, that's why I put you guys front and center. The newest members of the Framily move here and go to the pool the same month as us.
Wait, when did y'all move here?
June
30th.
June 30th.
We moved here June 4th.
Oh. When did you meet everyone?
Like June 6th. Brogan and Blaze. But to be fair, we didn't come to Thursday night for a couple months.
Oh, okay.
Alec came to Alec came to a deal where we
But y'all came, but basically y'all got.
We moved here. So Holly and I were in Louisiana at the time, and we had an amazing small group there, and we knew we wanted to get plugged into a small group here, but we didn't know when we would, find a group. And so we moved here, and then that group.
Yeah. 2 days later.
So then we moved on, I think it was on a Thursday, and then that Saturday we go to the pool, and
our neighborhood has a neighborhood pool.
Yes, we live in the neighborhood with everybody, but we moved from Louisiana to Florida. Crazy things happened, and after living there for 3 weeks, we had to move to Texas. So we were like fish out of water and needed to catch our breath, and we were like, we're gonna leave my mom with the kids, let's go to the pool for the day. And we see Brogan and Blaze, the sisters, at the neighborhood pool, and we started talking to them. I was asking what hospitals are good nearby that might, look for a job. And then he's like, what church do y'all go to? And then we ended up talking for a while. But, and I don't remember who invited us.
So then, and the husband showed up.
Russell and Jackson showed up.
Yeah, they ended up showing up later. And so then I got to meet them. And I think I got Jackson's number. And they were just like, both couples were just so like down to earth, like really humble, amazing people. They were just so welcoming. And yeah, we hit it off right then and there. And Jackson invited me to hang out with the guys one night. And yeah, it was a blast. And yeah, we had a good time, and it was, everyone was super welcoming. And yeah, we found our family.
I love it.
Hey, he came that night over there, and I was like, hey, you can come if you want, but like we're just gonna be kind of hanging out tonight.
He didn't go home until like 2 a.m.
I kept looking at him like, hey, I was like, hey, you can go if you want to. He was like, he wanted to be there more than I did.
Yeah, knowing Alec now, he loved it.
That's what I was about to say is Alec, y'all just dove in, which is awesome. Like, this is obviously, it could be daunting to like enter into a friend group that's bigger, but like the fact that y'all just dove in the way y'all did, and same for like everybody that's joined.
The moral of the story is like, if you get invited and you're looking for a community, like go.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We got to wrap this up. And if you are, I just want to acknowledge, if you're trying to listen to this as our first episode, it's probably really hard. So I'm just gonna really encourage you to go to a space where you can watch it. I think it will make way more sense if you can see us. It's okay if you're not. I hope you're tracking. But what I hope you're walking away with is noticing, we've got parking lots, church aisles, we've got a community pool, we have work across from each other at work. We've got me and you in a cafeteria at college. Long lost cousins. That one might be a little more niche. But what I just listed was, if you're listening, you have something like that in your life. You just do. And so I hope what you're inspired by, look at what it's done and look at what we have. And I'm not saying that, now everyone can just go make 20 best friends. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying maybe you could go make one. And maybe it's not some really hardcore thing you have to put a lot of effort into. Maybe it's just someone who's already next door and they're gonna walk past you in the parking lot, and you just never know where it's gonna go. So just go. And so I think that's a great place to end episode 1. Go ahead, Jackson.
I want to just add one thing. I do want to say that we do have some other really great friends that are some of our very best friends in the world that are just not here today. So there's even more that goes on.
A lot more.
Talk about here, and yeah, that's just who could be here today. There's more stories,
crazier connections.
So anyways, it's just awesome to see. I've heard it before that God has a golden thread that He weaves through people's lives, and it just feels that way, through whether it be the golf stuff is crazy to me, especially knowing Britt. He don't do that. but weaving the golden thread of just like, hey, God is all knowing. He knows us all better than we know ourselves. And he's doing things in our lives and what far reaching beyond our lives in a ripple effect, people that we may not even know. And he's working behind the scenes and connecting, lives together. And it's just beautiful to see like the fruit of that and to see like the reality of that here today.
Yep. Glad to know y'all. I love y'all. Epic episode 1. Hope you guys are back for episode 2. It's going to look pretty different. It's going to be pretty awesome. So we'll see you guys next week. See y'all later. Thanks.